Hey everyone! In this video, we're going to look at how an AI assistant can help students better understand their assessments and get the support they actually need to succeed. But before we jump into the demo, here's a quick overview of the work that powers it. We started by using generative AI to extract the kinds of skills students need to complete their assessment tasks. Skills that aren't always spelled out in course outlines. And we're not talking about vague, generic stuff. These are specific, contextual skills based on what the task actually involves. For example, a research essay might require independent research, critical analysis, and academic writing. A video presentation might need public speaking, storyboarding, and media production skills. The goal is to surface the real capabilities students need to succeed, not just the learning outcomes on paper. Once we had those skills, we organized them into a structured taxonomy. This helps group related skills under broader categories, like cognitive and learning skills, workplace and soft skills, digital and future skills, and industry-specific skills. That structure gives us a consistent way to understand and compare what different assessments are actually demanding. And then we took it one step further by linking each of those broader skill categories to relevant support services already offered by the university. So, instead of just telling a student, you need to work on critical thinking, we can actually point them to a workshop, a consultation, or a support program that helps develop that skill. Now, if you're curious about how all of this was built, how the skills were extracted, clustered, and mapped, that's coming in another video. This video is all about putting that system into action. So let's meet the AI assistant and see how it helps students connect the dots between their assessments, their skill gaps, and the support available to help them thrive. Here I've created a custom GPT that's trained on a specific course, Politics of the USA. The main goal of this assistant is to help students understand what skills are involved in each assessment item and then recommend the right support services to build those skills. Let's walk through a scenario. Say I'm a student in this course and there are 4 different assessment tasks throughout the term. I've got one coming up, the research essay. And honestly, I'm not really sure how to prepare for it. I've read the assessment description, looked at the learning outcomes, but it's still not clear what I should focus on. I think I need academic writing and maybe some research skills, but that's about it. So I ask the AI assistant for help. First, it asks me which assessment I'm working on. I select Research Essay. Then, the assistant gives me a breakdown of the key skills I'll need for that specific task and how to get started. Here's what it told me. The research essay in the course requires strong research and writing skills, but not just in a general way. It highlighted specific areas like independent research, critical evaluation, historical analysis, academic writing, and making connections between historical trends and current policy debates. Then it walked me through some prep steps, understanding the essay question, gathering credible sources, developing a thesis, creating an outline, and refining the final draft through editing. That alone is already super helpful. But the assistant didn't stop there. It also offered to recommend support services relevant to this exact task. And this is where it really shines. Instead of just throwing a list of links at me, it explained why each service would be useful. It suggested the academic language and learning support for help with essay structure, building a clear argument, and referencing properly. It pointed me to the course convener for clarification on the essay topic, course expectations, and research direction. And if I'm juggling a bunch of other responsibilities, it recommended the postgraduate support service to help with research strategies, choosing a manageable topic, and managing my time effectively. So in one conversation, the assistant took a vague assessment description and turned it into a step-by-step plan with skill insights, preparation tips, and tailored support recommendations. That's what makes this so powerful. It's not just about extracting skills. It's about using them to guide students in a meaningful way. All right, let's try this out with another assessment, tutorial participation. Now, I think we all know that just showing up isn't quite enough. A good student actually contributes, asks questions, engages in the discussion, brings in ideas, and interestingly, the course outline really backs that up. This assessment is linked to 4 different learning outcomes, ranging from having a broad understanding of US politics to critically evaluating debates, doing independent research, and writing academically. So, when I asked the AI assistant about this task, it went straight to work, pulling relevant skills based on those learning outcomes, but tailored specifically to what's required for this assessment. The response made a lot of sense. It explained that tutorial participation in the course involves more than just talking in class. It requires critical thinking, understanding both historical and current political influences, a solid grasp of US institutions, independent research, and yes, academic writing too. The assistant then grouped these into 2 main skill types: cognitive skills like research, analysis, and problem solving, and soft skills like communication and discussion. So far, so good. Then, naturally, I asked, how can I get help developing these skills? And yep, the AI delivered again. It quickly suggested a few relevant support services that could help boost participation. Without going into too much detail again, it pointed me toward academic skills workshops for help with argument structure and critical thinking, some practical strategies from the postgraduate support team, and reminded me that the course convener is always a great source for feedback on how I'm engaging in tutorials. Finally, let's try something a little different, something that involves media creation. Let's see how the AI can help with a video presentation. Now, in this case, the course doesn't give us much to go on. There's not a lot of detail about what the task actually involves. And honestly, that's pretty common. But this is exactly where Gen AI proves its value. It took what little information was available and inferred the kinds of skills students would need, not just to handle the technical side of producing a video, but also to meet the deeper learning goals of the course, like critically analyzing political issues. So here's what it came up with. The AI explained that the video presentation assessment requires a blend of research, communication, and technical skills. It listed things like video editing, public speaking, critical analysis of political topics, research and synthesis, storyboarding, and the effective use of visuals. Then it broke these down into categories: workplace skills like communication and teamwork, cognitive skills like research, critical thinking and problem solving, and industry-specific skills like media production and design. Honestly, that's a pretty well-rounded skill set. And of course, when it came to support services, the AI nailed it again. It recommended help for developing strong arguments and presentation skills, support for staying organized and managing time effectively, and guidance on the political analysis side from the course convener. It even gave direct links for booking appointments and digging deeper. And just like before, the assistant didn't just throw names at me. It explained why each one was useful for this particular assessment. Even with limited information, it pulled out the key skills, matched them to the right support, and gave the student a clear way forward. So now that we've seen how this works across a range of assessments, from essays and tutorials to media projects, let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture. What's the real impact of all this? In a word, scalability. That's where this work truly shines. Large language models like Gen AI give us the ability to scale this kind of support in a way that just wasn't possible before. One of the big advantages is how well LLMs handle variation in language. They can recognize when 2 skills are essentially the same, even if they're described differently across courses. So, for example, one course might ask students to critique a research paper, while another might ask them to evaluate sources. The wording is different, but both are really asking for critical thinking. By grouping these kinds of similar skills under broader categories, we can spot patterns, like which students are struggling with the same core skill, even if they're in completely different subjects. That means we can offer targeted support, say a critical thinking workshop or one-on-one help, without needing to build a custom intervention for each course. It also means we can use our support resources more efficiently. Instead of running separate programs for every course, we can create cross-course support that serves a wider group of students. It's smarter, more sustainable, and ultimately more helpful for students. So this isn't just about making AI look clever. It's about using AI to amplify the support we can offer, reaching more students earlier and with the help they actually need. So, To wrap it all up, this whole project is a great example of how generative AI can enrich our understanding of student learning and actually turn that insight into action. Starting with something as unstructured as a course outline, we were able to extract meaningful assessment-specific skills and organize them into a structured, well-defined taxonomy. And once we had that foundation, everything else became possible. We could connect those skills to the right support services, not just randomly, but in a way that's targeted and meaningful. Even better, the AI didn't just recommend a service. It could explain why that service was useful for a specific assessment and the exact skill a student needed to build. That's the part I find most exciting. It's not just about handing students a long list of generic resources. It's about helping them understand where their skill gaps are and giving them the confidence that they're focusing on the right things and getting the right kind of support to succeed. This is how we move from information to impact, and we're just getting started.